Did you know that there is an old village in Japan that recently became famous because of its reputation as a supposedly cursed place? There are many terrifying stories circulating about this place, including the story of a man who was burned alive by carjackers. So it's no wonder why this place has gained such a dark reputation. But before we begin, if you're new to our channel, make sure to subscribe so you'll always be updated with videos like this. The Inunaki Tunnel, Inunaki Village, and the Inunaki region, located in the Inunaki area of Fukuoka Prefecture in Japan, are considered some of the scariest and most feared places in the entire country. Many real cases of murder, chilling stories, legends, and dark parts of history are associated with this place. According to stories, screams and howls can supposedly be heard at different times of the night throughout the small region. But the scariest belief is that this place is said to be beyond the reach of Japanese law. It is said that during the Edo period, Inunaki village was completely closed off and separated from the rest of the country. According to legend, it was the government itself that decided not to interfere with its administration. There are many explanations given as to why. Some say there are cults that worship demons, rituals involving blood offerings, cannibalism, the use of black magic, and other terrifying practices. According to the story, after 30 people were allegedly killed in one of these rituals, the village was completely closed off from the outside world. Since then, all the roads leading to the village were reportedly cut off. There was even reportedly a sign posted at the entrance saying that the area beyond this point was no longer under the jurisdiction of Japan's constitution, as a warning to anyone who dared to enter. According to legend, Inunaki village began in the early part of the Edo period. It is said that the farmers who were persecuted and oppressed at that time chose to exile themselves there and completely cut off their ties with society. Some say that even now there are still people living in the village. But because of hundreds of years of rituals and repeated marriages among relatives, their appearance and way of life have changed. If you dare to look for this place, it is said to be full of traps. According to the stories, the crazed residents will chase you and kill you using axes and sickles. Aside from that, there's no phone signal in the area, so you won't be able to call anyone for help. And since it's said that the government has no jurisdiction over it, the police supposedly can't do anything either. That's why there's a belief that no one who has found the real Inunaki village has ever come back alive. The name Inunaki can be translated as howling dog. It's believed to have come from an old village legend. Even today, some dog statues can still be seen among the ruins of Inunaki as a reminder of its history. According to the legend, there was a man who had a dog that wouldn't stop barking. One day, out of extreme annoyance, he killed his own pet. Not long after, the man and his entire family were also killed. It was only then, or so the story goes, that he realized his dog had only been trying to warn him about the people coming to kill them. Although there are many legends surrounding it, there is a real Inunaki village recorded in history. According to official records, it existed from 1691 to 1889. At its peak, the village was known for making ceramics and iron. Later on, it developed even more because of coal mining. In the late 1800s, a castle called Inunaki Gobekun was built. And even today, some of its ruins can still be seen. Eventually, Inunaki was merged with the nearby village of Yoshikawa. And over time, it was combined with other villages until the present-day city of Miyakawa was formed, which is considered the modern successor of the former Inunaki village. The original location of the old village was completely lost when a dam was built in the area. Because of this, the entire community was submerged in water, and almost no traces were left. The former residents are said to have moved to the nearby area of Wakita. However, many believe that this is not the real Inunaki village. For them, the official history is just a cover-up of what really happened. There are also some who believe that the dam was deliberately built to bury the village's true secret for good. Most of the ghosts and scary stories about Inunaki don't actually happen in the old village itself, but in an old tunnel leading to it. The current tunnel was built in 1975 and is still in use today, but the old tunnel has long been abandoned. Because of its popularity, it even inspired the horror movie Howling Village in 2019, where the old tunnel is the main setting. In the same year, the horror game Inunaki Tunnel was also released. But the tunnel's scary reputation is not just because of legends. There are also real incidents that have been recorded here. One of the most famous is the gruesome murder case on December 7, 1988. On that day, a 20-year-old man named Umayama Koichi was waiting at a stoplight near Inunaki while on his way home from work. He was approached by a group of young men who said, "We need your car to pick up some girls, so stop being stubborn and get out." Naturally, Umayama refused to give up his car. Because of this, the group attacked him, took the car, and forcibly took him along. He was taken to a remote place where he was assaulted again. Despite his severe injuries, Umayama managed to escape and ran toward the road. He tried to get help from passing drivers, but no one stopped to help him. Soon after, the group found him again and captured him once more. They took him to Condaport and tried to throw him into the sea, but he held tightly to the fence so they couldn't push him into the water. While all this was happening, one of the men seemed to feel guilty and said they should stop what they were doing. But the leader of the group objected and insisted, "This man will die." After that, they stuffed Umayama into the cramped compartment at the back of his own car. They repeatedly hurt him using wrenches, a crank, and whatever tools they could find. At first, they planned to dump his body in Rikimaru Dam, but they were afraid it might float and be found. So they decided to burn him so his body wouldn't be identified. They stopped at a gas station and filled plastic bottles with gasoline. They told the gas station staff that their motorcycle had broken down. After that, they brought Umayama to the old Inunaki tunnel. They poured gasoline on his head. When Umayama realized what was about to happen, he screamed in terror. The perpetrators were momentarily stunned, and he took the opportunity to try to escape again. This time, he ran into the forest. The men shouted, "We won't hurt you, we're not lying, come out now." For some unclear reason, Umayama believed them, and he came out from his hiding place, and there they caught him for the third and final time. They stuffed his mouth with cloth, tied his hands and feet, and repeatedly struck him with large stones. Even after the severe injuries, he still wasn't dead and kept begging for his life. Because of this, they poured the remaining gasoline on his body and burned him alive. As the flames consumed him, he continued to suffer and cry for help, but no one came to his rescue. Despite his severe injuries, he managed to stand up and stagger toward the entrance of the tunnel. But when he got there, he collapsed and died. After the group made sure he was dead, they left the area and returned to Fukuoka City. When they got there, they even went to a bar and bragged to others about what they had done. According to one of them, "We killed someone, we even burned him." Umayama's body was found around noon the next day. Because of the severity of the burns on his body, it was difficult to determine the exact cause of his death. However, according to the investigation, he died due to severe blood loss from injuries to his head before the other injuries could become the direct cause of death. Because they openly spread news of their crime in various places, it didn't take long before the perpetrators were identified, caught, and arrested. On March 8, 1991, during the trial at the Fukuoka court, the main accused, who was only 19 years old when the crime happened, was sentenced to life imprisonment. In court, he said, "I didn't really intend to kill her. This sentence is too harsh." He requested that his sentence be reduced, but the judge firmly denied it. According to the judge, the cruelty shown in this case is rarely seen even in similar crimes. The accused was the mastermind behind the act, so his responsibility is grave. Meanwhile, modern legends about the real Inunaki village began to spread on the internet in 1999. Since then, the old Inunaki tunnel and the ruins of the former village have become popular destinations for ghost hunters and urban legend enthusiasts. On various internet forums, many people have shared what they know about the place. In November 1999, a netizen wrote, "Someone told me that this village is a specially protected area where the police or the government cannot interfere. Even though this is a well-known place, the television signal reportedly disappears when you reach the mountain. According to one theory, the village experienced severe discrimination even before the time of the netizen. Eventually, they cut off all contact with the outside and governed their own community. There are also rumors that dangerous people live there, but there is no solid evidence. On November 6, another comment said, "When I was in college, I went to Inunaki Pass. There are both new and old tunnels there. There were no lights inside, and I can't explain why I suddenly felt intense anxiety and dizziness." On November 8, someone else wrote, "Inunaki Village really used to be in that area, but it sank after the dam was built." When I asked my friend about Inunaki Village, he said, "The one that sank? It was submerged when the dam was built." On November 9, another story came out that I heard there was one that wasn't on any map. They say you can find it if you discover a narrow road leading to a bridge. And on November 12, a netizen mentioned a similar legend. They say there's a place near Mount Haruna in Gunma Prefecture that inspired a manga about street racers. They say that if you enter that place, you'll get into an accident and lose your life. According to the story, there's a satanic cult that owns a large part of the land there, and it's said to be filled with corpses. On November 13, a netizen even wrote that there's a religious group's facility in the area that's operated by a well-known organization. Criminal organizations also often come and go in that place. Not long after, an anonymous person sent a letter to a TV station called NTV. The title of the letter was "The Village in Japan That Is Not Part of Japan." The writer explained that although he doesn't believe in ghosts, the place called Inunaki Ridge is very well known because of the paranormal stories there. According to him, there is a narrow path in the forest near the old Inunaki tunnel. He said it's very easy to miss. As you follow the path, it gets narrower and narrower until you reach a sign with something written on it. The area beyond this point is no longer under the jurisdiction of Japan's constitution. After that, he shared a scary story. In the early 1970s, there was a young couple traveling in the mountains near Inunaki Ridge. They were coming from Hisayama and heading to Miyakawa. Because there were only a few roads back then, they were forced to take a narrow road going up the mountain. But before they could reach the old Inunaki tunnel, their vehicle suddenly broke down. Since it was a time when there were no cell phones yet, they had no way to ask for help right away. They noticed a small path leading into the forest near the tunnel, so they left their vehicle and walked, hoping to find a place to stay or someone to ask for help. After a while, they reached a sign that said the area ahead was no longer under the jurisdiction of the Japanese constitution. They thought it was just a joke, so they continued on. They had walked less than a kilometer when they noticed some old houses. They were dark, almost destroyed, and seemed to have been abandoned for a long time. They felt even more uneasy because they couldn't hear any sound at all. No people, no animals, not even the sound of the wind could be heard. The only sign of modern times was a white vehicle that had been left abandoned for a long time and was slowly rusting. They remembered the news about a couple who disappeared almost a year ago while riding a similar vehicle. As they walked along the main road of the village in almost complete darkness, they decided to just go back to their car and look for another way to get help. But at that very moment, a man suddenly appeared from the balcony of a large gray building. He approached the couple and said with a smile, "We're happy to have visitors here, but we don't want them to leave." In an instant, he allegedly struck the young man with a scythe, injuring him from the neck down to the stomach. The man immediately fell to the ground before he could even understand what had happened. The woman tried to run back to their vehicle, but the man caught up with her. He easily lifted her with one hand and threw her in the middle of the road, causing her to break several ribs. Despite her severe injuries, she forced herself to run toward the nearest house. There, she saw something they hadn't noticed earlier. Many bodies were sprawled in the darkness between the buildings. She didn't survive either. According to the story, she was also thrown to the ground beside the white vehicle. After that account, the letter went on to describe the supposedly deranged residents of the village and urged journalists to immediately go and investigate the area. Many believe that this is where the modern legend of Inunaki Village began. Even though it has been around for a long time, it was already a well-known destination for ghost hunters before that letter spread. Over time, various theories have emerged about the true history of the village. These include the following. First, it is said that a contagious disease spread throughout the village, so the government completely closed it off to prevent the epidemic from spreading further. Because of this, it is said that all the residents were left there until they perished. Second, some say it was a colony of lepers. Because of fear and discrimination in society back then, they were completely separated from other communities. Third, according to another legend, the long isolation of the residents from the outside world supposedly led to repeated marriages among relatives, which eventually caused the decline of their mental health and the loss of normal behavior and morality. Fourth, there's a story that says a resident of the village, believed to be the man holding a sickle in the legend, killed everyone in the place in just one night, and he was the only one left alive. And fifth, there is a belief that a cult supposedly took over the entire village. This is said to be where the rituals of cannibalism began, and any outsider who happened to wander into the place never came out alive again. There is another legend that is closely related to the construction of the Inunaki Dam, which caused the old location of the village to be submerged. According to the story, when the residents refused to evacuate, the energy companies did not force them anymore. Instead, they were allegedly locked inside their homes, and then the entire area was submerged in water to erase them from history completely. There is no evidence to prove that this happened, but it remains one of the most popular urban legends about Inunaki. At present, the old Inunaki tunnel has been completely closed to the public. Its entrance has been blocked with a large concrete block, and there is also a big gate to prevent vehicles from entering. However, there are still some explorers and urban adventurers who claim that they are able to enter the area by climbing up the side of the mountain and squeezing in through the upper part of the tunnel. According to residents living near the area, even more people started visiting Inunaki Tunnel after the movie Howling Village was released. Even before the movie came out, the place was already being visited by curious people and ghost hunters. But by 2020, despite the lockdowns, it became even more popular. Because of this, the area around the tunnel became filled with trash left by visitors, graffiti on the walls, and various items left behind by people who drank and partied in the place. It's amusing to think about, but according to the locals, they're no longer afraid of ghosts. What they fear are the groups of troublemakers who always go there. A resident told a local newspaper that every day there are young people hanging out in the forest near the tunnel. They drink there, leave trash everywhere, and cause trouble. Honestly, we ourselves are afraid to go up there. According to the report, since Howling Village was released, the police have had to respond there more than 182 times. Before that, there were almost no reported incidents in the past several months. Because of this, the residents are hoping that the popularity of the place will gradually fade so that peace will return to their community. In February 2020, the Fukuoka Broadcasting Corporation, together with the Miyakawa City Council, also conducted their own investigation. While they were inspecting the old tunnel, they said they heard strange sounds coming from inside. They also noticed that the temperature dropped from 12 degrees Celsius to 9 degrees Celsius as they approached the entrance of the tunnel. However, they explained that it's normal for the air inside a tunnel to be colder than outside. In the end, they did not find any evidence proving any paranormal occurrence. At present, entering the old Inunaki tunnel is strictly prohibited. There are steel gates, sturdy barriers, fences, surveillance cameras, and the police regularly patrol the area. Because of this, it is now much harder to enter the old tunnel. Perhaps this is also for the best. Not only for the welfare of the residents, but also for the safety of anyone planning to go there.